Welcome back to Serving Up Pitt, the podcast for everything Pitt volleyball. I'm Abby, that's Kat, and today we've got two segments for you. First, we're going to talk about the Panthers bounce back weekend with wins over TCU and Arizona State here in Pittsburgh for the first time this season, and share our biggest takeaways from those matches. And then we're going to get into some rankings talk because there was a lot of chaos with the new rankings coming out on Monday and then upsets on Monday night, just to see where Pitt stands nationally and what it means. So let's go ahead and serve up some Pitt volleyball. Kat, they started out 0-2 last during week 0.
Yep.
Responded coming back with a 2-0 this weekend. How about that?
Yeah, I think, like Fish has said in many of his preseason interviews, and even now he's still saying they have the hardest preseason he's ever had in his 12 years of coaching. And I think it just honestly proves how confident he is in this team and the level that they can be at and where they could have been at the beginning. And I think it was a good way to start just so they could see the toughest teams first. And just where they need to be, the caliber of play they need to be at by the end of postseason, because there's a lot of times when you won't see these kinds of teams until postseason, and you're not surprised, but it's a level of play shock, because obviously the ACC is strong, but you're still not playing the Penn States, the Big Tens, the whatever, all of those teams. So I think being 2-2 right now is honestly a pride. Especially with Penn State, the previous national champions. They are also, I think they're 2-2.
They are 2-2.
They are 2-2 as well. So it just proves to say that anything can happen during preseason.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things to me was just the fact that they made a huge jump from the Florida game to the TCU game, and then it felt like they made an even bigger jump from the TCU to the Arizona State game. Sure. And Fisher mentioned that that was partially because they felt like they actually could scout Arizona State, just because they didn't have as much, turnover as Florida, as TCU. Sure. But I think, I mean, let's go ahead and jump right into takeaways. I think my biggest takeaway, one of my biggest takeaways was Blaire Bayless. I mean, sure. She was a bit of a non-factor that opening weekend, and then she comes out the gate in the TCU game. I mean, a career high 14 kills, and sure. Not even just 14 kills, but she was hitting over 400, which is just insane. And so when she's in the mix, that's just another hitter to pair with Olivia Babcock. And I mean, last year Fisher and Kellen Patron always would talk about, we have 3 really solid hitters, and that makes us dangerous. And right now you're seeing that they've got 2 really solid hitters in Blaire and Olivia, and others coming up. And then not only did she had a career high on Sunday, followed it up with a career high in blocks against Arizona State, and still had 9 kills.
Exactly.
What a weekend for Blaire.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the stats, and she was 9 for 24, which is still hitting 200, which is still great. As a pin who's only coming in the front row, I think being able to hit above 200-ish is great, because you're, like I was talking about last week, you're going out, you're getting ice cold, you're coming right back in, and that's a hard rhythm to get in. So I think there's a lot of pride for her in the fact that she was able to have a personal best, as well as continue that onto Sunday, playing, I guess, the harder team, or maybe that was Monday, playing, I guess, the harder team. And yeah, against Naomi Glover, who's, let me say, one of the best right sides in the country, alongside Kennedy Martin and Olivia, close to being. I think she'll be in the running for getting player, maybe conference player, as she's transferred from Oregon. So she has a lot of experience against a big block. So it's not to put anything to shame, because she's a great hitter and they're able to shut her down too.
Pitt was just posted up on that block, which we'll get into later, because man, the block was just insane this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
But again, it's a good thing to see that Blaire has, I mean, and we knew this. We knew that Blaire has the capability to go out there and be really big offensively and really big on the block. We just hadn't seen it yet.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I think that being able to spread that offense out more between her and Olivia, and even Dagmar, who was pretty quiet this weekend, but still absolutely balled out. And we forget that she's still playing 6 rows, and she's still being making a huge impact. So yeah, sorry, I have to show you guys this. Emmy is sitting on the floor. Hello, Emmy Klicka. This is our PVF champion and gold medalist sitting on the wood floor.
Iconic. And then Kat, I know we talked about this. The other person that really, in our text, we talked about this.
Yeah.
The person that really, really stood out was setter Brook Moher, which
For
I
sure.
think she did pretty decently that opening weekend.
Mhm.
But then she just said, hold on, I'm really well-rounded and let me show you.
Seriously, I already knew she was an absolute athlete, but I think that's something that I was not so shocked by, but I knew she was a good server, and I was shocked that it wasn't going very well the first weekend for her. And I think one of my big moments of the game was for her when she came in and got those aces like back to back to back, and her consistency with serving is even making like 2 in and going on like a little bit of a run is still better than swinging the first ball out. Like she had to build up that confidence the first week, and I think that's where it led her, even though she was float serving one day. And yeah, getting that team, getting Arizona State, getting TCU out of system is huge for them. And I think that's what they really struggled with against Nebraska as well. Nebraska and I can't even remember who they played. Florida. Like they struggled with that for sure. And so being able to keep other teams out of system and even getting all those aces, they had 7 aces against Arizona State, which is huge. So yeah.
And she had 4 of those.
She had 4 of the 7.
4 of those.
Mind you.
I thought that was cool that like not only you got to see that she's versatile too. Is that, you know, Fisher said in the post-game press conference after Arizona State that Brooke was mad that he made her do her float serve against TCU. And then the morning of the Arizona State game, she was like, what serve do you want me to do? And he was like, what do you want to do? And so she was like, I want to do my top spin. And so she did the top spin, but then she faulted on her very first serve of the day. And she even said, when you fault on your first serve, you got to come back with some might in you, which is great. But then when you also look down the rest of her stat line is it wasn't just aces. Aces was a huge part, but like 7 kills over both games, which is awesome from a setter. She does have the pin hitter background, but like still you don't see that often, especially from a Pitt setter, just because that's not what Fisher usually goes for. 61 assists, 40 in the TCU game, 21 in the Arizona State. As we said, 7 aces, 14 digs over the games, and then 7 blocks. So just very active. And like you said earlier, moving the ball around was huge.
Huge. And I think let alone that she showed that she took that swing on the last point of the game, and she was like, I'm going to win this game for us. I think that she's an absolute competitor, and that kind of showed up. And even getting to like play with her and watch her play at practice yesterday, I was like, this girl wants to win all the time, and you can just tell. And obviously we've had setters like that, but we've never had. Then like Rachel has done like the 6-2 where she's hitting and stuff, but that's like she's a hitter. But the fact that Brooke is a setter as well as a hitter at the exact same time, it just adds to the offense once again. So not only are we having like a great outside game, a great right side game, we had Bree in the middle who was also getting more kills than she was. So it seemed like her location was better, but it's also Brooke is going to be like that X factor who's also putting balls down. So
yeah, speaking of Bree, let's go into a little bit of the block. Like I know you mentioned her kills, and I'm pulling up the stats real quick just to. She also had 7 kills over the weekend, which is awesome because we hadn't really seen the middles get as active from that perspective. Exactly. But then really her big numbers came from the block, which is expected. I mean, so they had 10 against TCU. And she had 8, obviously most of those assisted. And then 14 against Arizona State. Yeah. And that's in 3 sets, mind you. 14 in 3 sets. And Bree had 7 of those, 1 solo. So the block was just very, very active in a way we haven't seen yet this season, which is huge because this team can be lethal when it has a block going.
For sure. I think that obviously since she was playing her sister against TCU, I think she had that like fire in her. And it did look to me like they had scouted TCU and ASU way better than they had the weekend before. I thought both middles actually, well, all the middles who played were reading really well. And like I said before, shutting Naomi Glover down was huge. And then the one big solo block she had against like the Bic, I think that might have been just like a whole momentum shift for them. Like she was like, I'm the big dog here. Like I will put the ball down. Like you are not getting past me type stuff. So
she showed why she's one of the best
exactly.
in the nation, and she did it with a pseudo cast on her hand too. Like, that's crazy.
I don't even think that's a hindrance to her. She's like, screw this, it's just some tape, guys.
And then, I mean, we talked about this a little bit. So on the TCU game, Abby freshman Abby was the second middle blocker and played the whole game. We actually didn't see Ryla Jones at all in that TCU game, which was a little surprising to me. But we did see her a lot in the Arizona State game. And so, just to give you some numbers, in Abby against TCU, she had just 1 block, but 4 kills, which is huge. And then Ryla against Arizona State, 3 kills and 4 blocks. So, Kat, what does that say about, just the depth of this middle block room?
Oh my gosh. Abby is just this like solid player. Like, she wants to learn. She wants to get better so bad. And she's just like, she's a tank when she's blocking. She's obviously 6'4". She's pretty. She got a heavy arm in the middle too. And I think just her ability to stay calm in those situations is what really helps her. And it's, as a read blocker, you want to be pretty calm so you can get to the ball just as fast. If you're moving laterally and you're like freaking out, like, that is so hard to get to the ball in like a manner that you like actually can block the ball. And then again, like Ryla, who's proven last year that she was amazing. I know has struggled with some setting locations. I know that it was like last year she had Rachel, who's arguably one of the best setters that's come out of NCAA volleyball, who would just deliver every single time. And when like the pass was struggling last week, and like Ryla wasn't getting runs out of that well. And after some conversations with Fish, like, he did say that Abby had a great week of practice. I don't think there's anything wrong with Ryla whatsoever. I just think that Abby may have beaten her out that week, and that's totally fine. That's what's going to happen. But that also just proves what's going to be going on the rest of the season. Like, you can put any single one of our middles out there and they will be capable of winning a game for us, including Dahlia, who played the first weekend, who in the gym yesterday that I saw they're all at the exact same level. Like, they all look phenomenal. And so that's just, I think, added confidence. Like, if somebody's struggling, you have the confidence to put in somebody else, and you should feel good about it. And a lot of teams lack that. So
it's able to give you just a different kind of change of pace, much like the liberos, because we saw some, I won't say wonkiness, but just a lot of shuffling, and funny that former libero Emmy Klicka is in the room while we're talking about this. Well, she's current libero, former Pitt libero, I should say.
Exactly.
So we started the weekend with Izzy Maston in that libero jersey, but by the third set of the TCU game, Fisher had switched and had Emery Dukes in the libero jersey and Mallory Meyer, which Mallory just came in as a serving sub. That just allows Fisher to not have to use a sub, which is key, because I think he is subbing a little bit more than more than maybe previous seasons, just because you've got Blaire coming in with a defensive sub, and I really liked that he had Izzy as the defensive specialist and Emery as the libero, because I think Izzy, and quick shout out, I wrote a story about Izzy Maston. Check it out on postgazette.com, post-gazette.com. Izzy, I think having her not have to be on the court 100% of the time is helping her a little bit, because it is an adjustment. It is an adjustment. And I also will say that I think Emery looked leaps and bounds better from that first weekend to this weekend.
Yeah, I explained this last week as well, but I think the adrenaline versus the nerves thing is just so big. And I think they just traded places, like Izzy not knowing she was going to be switching into the libero jersey last weekend, straight adrenaline for her. And so she obviously balled out. But this weekend, knowing that she was going to be in the libero jersey was straight nerves, because she didn't want to lose that spot. But she's such a good player that doesn't even matter. She can just be a DS. She can go in and serve. She can do all of these things. She can even be an outside, for God's sake. Like, just as a testament to her, but also Emery being able to just like completely switch and being like, I am ready to go this weekend was amazing. There were some plays, and she covered a ball in one of the sets. It had to have been like a straight down, just like tip block, and she picked it up. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, she's back. Like, she's in it.
Their coverage in general looked really good.
It looked so good.
Especially against Arizona State. Like, I don't know because I've never done it, but like coverage off the block is a challenge.
We call it defense off the block, actually.
Oh yeah, that's what Fisher said in the press conference, is that you guys call it defense off the block.
Yep.
And that's a challenge. And I swear, like off the block, there were not balls hitting the floor.
Unless it was an absolute stuff. But I mean, yeah, it was hard to put a ball down against us. She's flying everywhere. She looked so confident, not to mention she also passed like a 2.4, 2.5, maybe. Do you know? A 2.5, which is like great for a libero, especially after the first weekend she had. And I didn't obviously lose faith in her after the first weekend because we know she's a great player, but I just think she needed this weekend to get her back into it. And she obviously had to have had a great week of training because she proved that she wanted to be on the court.
Yeah. And then I gotta give a quick shout out to Mallory Meyer, in the libero jersey. I mean, she went on multiple service runs, which we expect from her at this point. But then we also did get to see High Tea as a serving specialist, which was fun. She got an ace out there too.
Mallory is one of the most nonchalant players you'll ever meet. You will never know if she's upset, which is the best thing about her, because she could just go dig the most like insane ball ever, and she's like, but she could also screw up and be like, whatever. Like life goes on, and so we're all like, you know what? This is the kind of level-headed we all need. And then TT, I got here on Thursday. We went immediately to dinner, and I was like, okay, serving specialist. And she was like, I was channeling your energy. I was like, TT.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. One last takeaway / question for you, Kat, about these games before we go into rankings talk is, so Olivia Babcock only had 6 kills against Arizona State. Yeah. The last time she had under 10 kills was on November 10th, 2024 against Duke. So are you worried at all about that number with only 6 kills?
No. No. I think her poor little body needed a break after the first week and after 130 attempts in 2 games. I think she didn't have a bad game whatsoever. Like, she still played great, but feeling the presence of like her and Blaire at the same time, like knowing that they could spread it out, I think that was great. I think she just could lift some of that weight off of her shoulders and give it to somebody else.
And she was huge on the defensive end too. Like she was on the floor saving some.
Always. You could tell she wanted to win. She's just such a competitor too. I mean, we have a team full of competitors. I keep saying that. Every single person on this team is a competitor, but she did whatever she could to help. And I think that she will prove that even when she gets less than 10 kills, they're still going to win.
Mm-hmm. You know I mean, you saw it and they also didn't need it, because when you got 14 blocks, I believe Arizona State had over 20 errors. Like you didn't need it. So like, exactly. Take the night off.
Exactly.
Before we jump into our rankings, I do have a quick word from one of our sponsors, ZipRecruiter. So, are you having trouble finding the right people to hire? Tired of sorting through endless resumes? Well, the future of hiring looks much brighter, because ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features help speed up finding the right people for your roles, so you save valuable time. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. With ZipRecruiter's new advances, you can easily find and connect with qualified candidates in minutes. See a candidate you're really interested in? You can unlock their contact info instantly. Use ZipRecruiter and save time hiring. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio right now, you can try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Rankings. We got new rankings, new AVCA rankings. So Pitt started the season at number 3, dropped to number 9 after those 2 losses. And then Arizona State jumped from 13 to 7 after defeating Penn State, reigning national champs, on Sunday. And the Nittany Lions dropped from 2 to 5. Mm-hmm. Penn State, number 5 in the country, reigning national champs, got beat by Arizona State and TCU, both teams that Pitt beat this weekend. Mm-hmm. What does that say about the national landscape of college volleyball in general right now, but also Pitt, coming back?
Yeah. seriously think that preseason is always the craziest time of the year. This is like there are more upsets during preseason than there are in the tournament, which is how it's supposed to be. But obviously leaving Nebraska at 1, fair. Not surprised. Texas at 2, also very fair. They swept Wisconsin and made it look very easy. Louisville, Kentucky, Penn State, Stanford, Arizona State, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh. It's gonna be a toss up. I think that it's gonna be a battle of the right sides between Penn State, and I'm excited for the 17th to see that for sure. But Penn State taking a loss to Arizona State and TCU is going to be an eye opener for them, like it was for us the first weekend. We both have brand new teams. And Penn State had to replace a lot of their best players, and so did we. Just as like a general comparison for our upsets, because we're both, whatever it is, 2-2 at this point.
2-2.
But yeah, the fact that Arizona State moved up so far after they did beat them, I think that's just preseason stuff, because nobody else is playing interesting games except for those who are in like the top 25. And so when teams are like making these big jumps, it's really not going to do anything. I think Arizona State is going to go right back down to where they were, and then they'll make their way back. But
and then it helped Pitt out because that's a top 10 win for them now, which wouldn't have been if they played it on Sunday, because the rankings came out on Monday afternoon. And I know they scheduled hard for a reason, but to not only get 2 ranked wins, but one of those being a top 10 against a team that the night before had beat Penn State has to be a big confidence boost too.
It has to be a big confidence boost. I think every game they win that's a ranked win for them is going to be a confidence boost, because every team, I'm still looking at the rankings, like every single team in this top 25 is somebody you want to beat. Like we have SMU in there too, and they're going to have to play Georgia Tech. That like they're all going to be such good games to watch. Even like Kansas, who I think was kind of more like the dark horse, even though Matt Ulmer is a great coach, I think he could take them very far. There's not a team in this top 25 that seems like beatable to me, or like a mistake, So it's just a testament to the NCAA for making it like a great preseason for everybody. And Kentucky, I wanted to talk about Kentucky a little bit too, because I hope Pitt crosses their paths. I want to watch Kentucky play so bad with Brooklyn delay. I think that's going to be just like an amazing matchup for them. And I think that's kind of where Pittsburgh is in terms of play level. I was watching them play. I was like, this looks like a team that like Pitt should be in like the top 5 at this point if Kentucky is sitting there too. But
and that's their next ranked match is Kentucky on September 10th. So
I'm so excited.
So in just 6 days they'll play Kentucky. But before that, this weekend they have Pepperdine, who just upset UCLA. And then they have Jacksonville too on Sunday, which Kat will actually be in the building for, which is exciting. But just looking, Dan Fisher said it. We asked him in the press conference. No other sport except for volleyball schedules the other challenging teams. Like football teams are going to avoid it, basketball teams are going to avoid it, but volleyball wants to play the best, and I think that's really cool. And one of the biggest reasons I like covering the sport is because no one's scared to play a team that might be better than them.
I mean, it's all about who's the bigger dog, who can get the better wins. By the end of the season, it's all on who's ranked the highest. And I think that we don't have a conference tournament. We don't do like playoff. We don't do playoffs like by like whatever it is section. Like it's about who's ranked the best. And so you're trying to stack those wins. And Pitt has always been good at stacking those wins against the top teams, because we play in one of the toughest conferences. And it's all just preparation for that. Like I said before.
Kat, last thing for you before we wrap this up is I want you to give me your top moment from the weekend, and I'm going to share mine, but I want you to go first.
I have 2, actually.
Go for it.
We talked a lot about Brooke and Blaire, who obviously were, I think, 2 of the standouts of this weekend. But favorite moment, Bree had that solo block against the Bic, which was, and like it was on TV with Ben Roethlisberger and his like little reaction. I thought that was so fun. And then also there was a kill by Dogmar. And it was like 13-18. And it was just this like disgusting line bounce. And I was like, whoa. And it, like, playing with her yesterday, she has just like the heaviest arm I've seen in a while. And I think she could be one of the best outsides in the country. Like, she is so fun to watch.
And she's only a freshman.
And she's got 4 more years of this. I cannot imagine what she's going to be like in 3 or 4 years.
No, it's crazy.
Especially playing with like the incoming people like Ayanna Watson. Her and Ayanna Watson are going to be an absolute.
Who was there this past weekend, actually.
She was there.
Yeah,
they're going to be like an absolutely reckoning duo at some point. So, yeah.
My top 2. I gotta give it to Bree stuffing her sister not once, not twice, but 3 times. Because
love you, Becca.
But Becca got her hits too. Like, Becca scored on Bree, but like, yeah, those stuff.
Becca had a day against Penn State though, so it's
she did. My other one is I got to give it to that 10-1 run in the third set against Arizona State, because I think it's the first time we've really seen this Pitt team be absolutely dominant. And it shows. I mean, I asked Emery Dupes about it in the press conference. Is this just a taste? And she was like, yeah, we're getting better every single day. And I think you see it too. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Serving Up Pitt. Thanks so much for listening as we broke down Pitt's bounce back weekend and the latest in the rankings. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss our next episode. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a comment, send in questions. We'll be back soon with more Panther volleyball talk. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.